So ridiculous. This is the best music ever. Okay, come on.
Hey! Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Come On! Episode 1.
Episode 1, 2020 COVID edition.
That's correct. How about Hans for that theme song? It's just tremendous. I'm Steve. That's my partner, Do.
Heyo.
There's the heyo. It's great. Thanks for checking out that little video, the welcome video. That was fun. We're ready to have some fun. We're ready to dive into our topics.
Yeah. Let's do it. Like it never was on pause for 7 years.
Nope. We picked up right. It's just like falling off a bicycle. So, okay, I got the timer ready. We're good to go. Timer set for 5 minutes. And I guess we should remind everybody. So we're going to talk about, we have 3 topics. 3, this way, not this way, or this way. 3. Common topic of debate in our families. We have 3 topics to discuss, and we're going to talk about each of them for 5 minutes. The timer will be on. Sadly, we can't do some bullshit timer down here. I wish we could, but we can't. Cause we are both technologically idiots.
I don't know about it right now.
So we're going to use the old-fashioned kitchen timer.
Right.
And when the 5 minutes goes off, that's it. Discussion's over. And then we're going to move on to the next topic. And we're going to, then after the 3, we're going to do 3 of those. And then we're going to talk about a top 10. And we're going to argue about 10. We're going to see if we can fill up a list of 10.
Top 10.
That's such a good, that's almost as good as our overhead theme song. The main theme. Is it the title theme, as it's called?
Title theme. The Come On title theme.
It's so good that we don't have to pay royalties for it.
No, no royalties whatsoever. Not like the good old days where we ate everybody's music.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so we're going to talk episode 1, resurgence, Zoom episode 1, topic number 1, Tiger King. It's backwards because this is
backwards. I see Tiger King.
Turn it around, but
it's not mirrored.
It's not?
No.
Oh, it is on my end, but for you,
because that's how cameras work, Steve.
I'm old and stupid. Tiger King.
Tiger King. The COVID quarantine phenomenon that is Tiger King.
How long did it take you to watch Tiger King, from when this shutdown quarantine started?
We watched the first weekend that everybody talked about it, and it was like 2 days, only because we put a hold because it was just too much at some points in time. It was just too much.
I didn't do it all in one night either, but it was right away. I guess number 1, she killed her husband, right?
Right, she killed her husband.
There's no question.
She killed her husband.
It's not even I'm not saying that she fed him to do you think she fed him to a tiger?
Well, I mean, you've owned cats. I've owned cats. What these predators do to bones is exactly what Doc said. They will go right through a friggin' bone, and then there will be nothing left.
I don't know if she had the balls to just feed him to the cat. Maybe.
She's a goof. Yeah, there's something. Okay, first of all, let's preface this, right? Everybody has a camp. Oh, I'm a Doc Anton camp person. I'm a Joe Rascal, Joe Exotic camp. I'm a Baskins person. None of them. They all get what they deserve. I am a nobody camp. They're all terrible fucking pieces of shit.
I want to be friends with Joe Exotic.
Of course you do. You both look exactly the same. You listen to the same fucking music.
A lot of reports that that's not his real voice on the record, by the way.
Yeah, you do. No shit, bud. No shit. You saw that terrible funeral. You oh the there's when you're watching certain levels of Office and Carell's such a genius when he comes to that. There's not a perfect descriptive in the English language. It's created in German, but we don't have a descriptor here in English. And that Schadenfreude, like that oogie feeling that you.
I loved every minute about it. I want to go live on the camp. I want to go. I want to pet the tigers.
You're gonna make $100 a day. You're gonna go eat Walmart spoiled meat.
Pizza made out of the Walmart meat. I don't know. How do you feel about Saf getting the arm chopped off and then going back to work the next day?
Oh my goodness!
Now, would you do that? I mean, like,
no.
You lost an arm at work. Would you go back to work?
One, she's not getting any workers' comp whatsoever, right? Like who? They gave her a spoonful of meth and had her back on her feet.
I don't think there was meth going around. I really don't.
Rural Oklahoma, bud? Come on.
I got a lot of friends in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Rural Oklahoma, though.
Well, what are you doing what's there to do besides hang out on your big cat ranch in rural Oklahoma, pal?
I don't know, but I want to do it. And that other guy, Jeff Lowe, I mean, he's shady as fuck, right?
Oh my God. Oh my. Like I said,
all of them are shady.
I am in no one's camp. I want the absolute worst to happen to all of the people who are involved in this.
So you don't feel bad for Joe Exotic at all?
I don't feel bad for Joe Exotic. I don't feel bad for Baskin. I don't feel bad for Doc Anton. I don't feel bad for... The thing I feel bad for is the animals that they have, like these poor starving animals, these starving creatures, the programs like go in and just killing healthy animals because they're not making you money. Come on. One, responsible in the first place, and two, ugh. So like I was saying, it was just a Schadenfreude like ride the entire time. I'm just going. We watched the first episode and I was like, that was a fucking thing, and then I was like, that's it, right? That this can't get worse, and then it just kept going.
Worse.
It was like watching a fireworks show where it was all finale, right? There was no in between. It was just go, and it was just ugh. It was the whole time. I'm just like, oh, this is giving me the cringe tingles.
Aside from the fact, okay, so I guess the big disagreement, and it's funny because we don't always. Sometimes we completely agree. Oh, there's the timer.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that our disagreement is that you like none of them and I like almost all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you like retrobates and deviants. That's who you are. You are a deviant and retrobate collector.
Guilty.
I mean, being a deviant myself, we know what they are.
All right, Tiger King in the books.
Tiger King, rip it up.
All right. So our next topic is something that you brought up.
Yep.
That I completely.
Yep.
He says to me, if you're serving a dip at a party, do you mix it up? And I said, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you mix it up?
And it's not just dip, it's sour cream. It's anything that has come before it, that has sat for a little bit and has a layer, right?
I don't know.
Yes, it's not just dip. It's cream cheese. It's sour cream. If
you're telling me, do I get the guacamole out and sit it on the table and stir it up before I tell everybody to have it? No, I certainly don't.
Monster.
What is the benefit of that?
You distribute the flavors, man. Like
flavor the flavor.
Okay, so say you got yourself a nice honkin' tub of French's onion, right? French dip onion.
I hate onions. I wouldn't get this shit.
No, you wouldn't get the. So say, okay, let's redo. Say you get the veggie ranch dip, right?
Okay.
Beans veggie ranch dip. You get it. You pop the top open. You open it up, and it's got the little scoop for when the machine splatted it in there, right?
Yep.
And you just go in. One, because the displacement of the top, because that is
No.
sitting there, that has touched air longer than everything
No.
else has. Yes,
No.
because it's touched air longer than there's a crust. There's a mantle on it, right? There's a crust. Yeah. And so you go straight chip in, and the chip crumbles immediately. The chip crumbles immediately.
It's not because of a crust.
Yes, because there's a surface tension that needs to be broken and mixed.
Fucking Bill Nye the Science Guy over here.
And it needs to be mixed, and the flavor is then distributed evenly, and you have this.
The flavor is the flavor. Now,
You have this nice.
when you said, I've opened up the garlic hummus, and there's the glob of garlic right in the middle. And your theory is you distribute the garlic, the
Right.
chunky garlic, in the hummus.
Right.
I can make a case for that. I don't usually.
It has the garlicky hummus then now.
I prefer the aesthetic of the glump of garlic. And everybody, you can, as you go center out, it mixes itself.
You're born in a barn. You're born in a barn. Like, you're unclassed, sir. You stir it up. You distribute the flavors for everybody.
That I can argue that there's flavor distribution. But the veggie ranch dip is veggie ranch dip. It's mixed at the factory. It's dumped in the thing. It's not a layer.
When we get unquarantined, we're getting 2 fucking containers of ranch dip.
If we are at a New Year's party and we have a plate of Cheryl's famous taco dip in front of us, are you mixing the taco dip?
No, because that's a layered dip. There's a difference.
There's not a difference.
There is.
Tell me you don't mix the one with the layers, but the one that comes from the factory all is mixed up. You mix that?
Right.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. That makes no sense.
Say you're getting chips and queso, right? You go to get chips and queso at a local
Whatever.
restaurant. Okay? That cheese,
We're at the restaurant.
the molten cheese comes out, right? That 20-second walk from the kitchen into the dining room,
Film.
there is what? A film on that because the cheese congeals. You just go straight in?
The film comes off in one fell swoop.
You're a monster. You are uncouth.
What's the point in mixing the film?
You are a charlatan. You mix it. You mix it up so that the film is evenly distributed throughout of it. I can't believe that. You just go straight chip in on all your dips.
What about a salsa? Would you mix a salsa?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because this is also a separate case. The salsa is set, right? What is tomato? 90% water. So the water rises to the top, right?
It's not made
of dusty fucking roads. Cream rises from it. So the water rises because you didn't shake the damn salsa like it told you to. You just popped and went.
Go shake the salsa.
I don't know if we can be friends anymore. Almost 20 years thrown away because of non-shaking of the salsa, non-stirring of the dips.
It's unbelievable that you would make such a big deal. Ah, fuck, I'm glad this is over.
I hate it. I hate it. Stir your damn dips.
All right, mixing the dip. Goodbye. All right.
We'll
Moving.
revisit it. We're going to film it, and then I'm going to show you.
I should say, we should have mentioned at the top of this that prior to recording, the only thing we discuss is what the topic's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We don't plan our opinions or thoughts or any of this. This is live
I'm going
detail.
to say, I don't know what you're going to say. It's just it's a luck the draw if this is even entertaining. So
It's essentially a glimpse at the two of us sitting at a restaurant, bullshitting at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So, all right. The final topic of our three is the resurgence of vinyl in recent years. Okay, timer, go.
okay, we pretty much already broached this topic in the past.
We did mention it once. but it's astonishing to me that in 2019, vinyl outsold other physical medias. I think CDs in particular,
Yeah,
for the first time since like 1991 or something, 1990.
exactly. Yeah. Well, because
Because they're $34 a piece. That's why
uh,
you need to only sell 1 to 4 CDs.
it's one of those things. They've turned that in the world right now that we live in, the 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 whole taste of collecting something, being a collector. It's a thing. As you can see in the background of your video, as the giant wall of Funkos. Like
Yeah.
everybody likes having a collection of something. It's my precious. It's what I have a stack of Funkos myself. I have cookbooks. We have Blu-rays and DVDs. We have
Like many things, including records. As you can see here, I've got quite a few, and all the ones on the wall there are autographed. Just below there is my large expanse. I friggin' love vinyl. I listen to vinyl almost every day. The assortment, let's see, I got them right here. Like I've got the Kiss records. I've got Hanson on vinyl, which re-release. Here's one for you, Smokey and the Bandit 2 soundtrack.
Where'd you pick that up?
I got that as a Christmas gift from a very good friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours.
Oh, that's a fantastic gift.
Yeah.
You like 2 soundtrack better than the first? We're getting off topic, but 2 than 1?
It's on vinyl, so it doesn't matter. It's all good. But yes, I don't know. It's hard to, yes. Vinyl is just, it's not only is it's big, right? I like that it's big. You can see the artwork. I don't know why people today are so enamored by it, because I don't think anybody actually has like serious setups for record playing.
There's some crazies out there who have that the platter that is suspended so that there's no jiggle, and the stylus has to be perfect, and it's been weighted correctly.
I get it, but I'm saying like the millennials or whatever that are into collecting vinyl now all of a sudden.
Well, that's just it. Like being a consumer, it's so much easier to just, instead of that vinyl being damaged and then it's lost because there was so many pressed, nowadays, unless it's one of those special collectors, first time only, special colored vinyl that you never see.
Right there.
Right, like that they're cashing in on, right? Everybody's cashing in on that craze.
The Chase Funko. You gotta find the right one.
So, like, the fact that, say, I picked up Amy Winehouse's Back on Black, right? There's nothing, because of her passing, because of all that, nobody got the idea to release a special version of Back on Black. It is what it is, right? Say I put it on my Crosley player, and everybody knows the quality of Crosley.
Yeah, right one. Yeah, right there.
So that's going to eat away at the vinyl, right? Because of how everything's been made. That's what people say. But if you want to listen to your music, you want to enjoy it, use whatever fucking record player that you absolutely want to.
Right.
But because of the way that we as consumers work, if that record were to be damaged, and they're a little bit more tougher nowadays.
180 grams are thick.
Right. So if that had a good gouge because you dropped it, there's nothing saying that you couldn't just reach out and Amazon a new Back on Black for what, $15, $16, and then it's shipped to your door 2 days later. Right. Alternatively, because of where we're at right now, and because of the stay in place, I got the Big Daddy Trump bucks, the stimulus package, and I'm considering myself a hometown hero because I'm only shopping local, so that the little mom and pop stores stay solvent.
We record this. We just passed what would have been Record Store Day, which has become a thing again. Like, I think it was always a thing, but all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, Record Store."
There's 2 of them. There's 2 of them in a year.
2?
There's two. There's a Thanksgiving record store day for Black Friday, and then there's the official one that happens between April and August. Now,
April and August.
well, now it's in August. You know, they pushed it back, but that's a special day because things get released that have never been released before.
Right, and special colors and whatever, and everybody has to have the newest, latest, and greatest and collect.
Well, I mean, I've got Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. Never been released until Black Friday. You know, like I do want to say last year they kind of did the old. Now they released the picture disc. Now you got to get the Emmett Otter picture disc. It's one of those things they keep adding on to it.
No, okay, I know we're way over the time. It's basically the price point is what caused this whole thing, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Why it made the most money is because it's the most expensive, and there's 18 versions, and you got to get all of them.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a better quality product. There's so much more. There's so much time and effort put into it. It's, you know, in the U.S. alone right now, there's maybe 9 or 10. I don't quote me on this, but there's only a certain amount of plants that are pressing vinyl nowadays.
4 or 5. Yeah.
And so that's putting jobs in America. You know, yeah, we can go buy these cheap record albums on Amazon. Even Target now has a fucking vinyl section. What is this, Zayre's from 1989?
God, Zayre was great. Mom and pop record stores in '89 were the.
So like Target now has a record section. Like,
Shout out to Zayre.
it's so consumable. It's so easy to go, yeah, I don't want this version. I'm gonna go to this store to get this version because this is an exclusive. I think that's something to do with it as well. But
All right. Well, we went over.
we did go over.
Shoot us.
That's our thing.
Okay. It is time for our favorite segment, which is
Top 10.
ah,
What's our top 10 this time?
all right. We are going to debate the top 10 films of Mr. National Treasure himself, COVID survivor Tom Hanks.
Good old Tam Honks.
Now, he's got quite this illustrious career. Now, there's no time limit on this one, by the way.
No time limit. We just go until we get to 10.
Go until we're done. It might be an hour. It might be 10 minutes. We don't know. So, again, I don't know if we're going to agree on the order of operations here, but if we can at least agree on 10 we both feel is our, you know, the highest. Oh, you got to get special.
I'm really excited.
Oh, are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
The idea is we just need to agree on his 10 best.
Right. Or what we consider.
What merits that remains to be seen.
Because
okay.
we have different opinions. Like, we can go, there's so many, because Hanks has been such a formidable actor, he has such an illustrious career, we can make grand statements. Do you like Hanks now? Do you like Hanks 90s? Do you like early Hanks? Like,
there's many eras of Hanks.
Right.
You're
going to fall off. Okay.
So, okay, if you had to pick just your favorite, Tom Hanks, can you just pick one out of the blue?
Tom Hanks movie?
Yeah. Now, are we debating his best performances or the best movies that happen to have Tom Hanks in them? Because Forrest Gump is an acting masterclass.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, it won Best Picture, but is it?
It wasn't the best picture of that year, and
not when you're up against the Shawshank fucking Redemption.
Forrest Gump is the funniest thing about the staying power with both of those movies. At some point in time right now, I guarantee you flip through any one of your channels, and this is those at home, which could be a week later. You're watching this a week later or a year later. Either one of those films is on the TV right now.
That's probably true.
So I think it's the watchability of Hanks.
Okay.
I say they did Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump marathon. I'd put that son of a bitch on the day and the whole day and just back and forth. Like that movie is a roller coaster. There's laughs, there's cries, is it the best movie? Probably not.
Nominating it for the top 10 right now?
I put it in. I put it on the board.
All right, I'll put it on the board. I'm going to put it in the maybe pile, though.
I'd like to. What are you gonna put? Sully? You're gonna put Sully on the top 10 board?
No.
No.
No. My favorite's probably The Green Mile.
I would agree with you, Hanks. Yeah.
Okay, we're agreeing. Look at this. Okay. The Green Mile, not only just because it's a Stephen King, another masterclass by Stephen King, but I mean, it's both. It's the watchability of the movie. It's his performance.
Okay, here's a question for you. I'm gonna get a little bit close here.
Yeah, you're better up there than leaning.
Within the last five years, Hank has kind of touched his toes a little bit to that direct to DVD market. He's not as bad as say one Steven Seagal or DMX.
Did you just put DMX and Tom Hanks in the same sentence?
No. And let's see, who else has been putting out video on demand? Like,
what's your point here?
He recently dipped his toes into that. Did you at any point in time see, what is it, the Hologram for the King? Is that the movie?
No.
And then I think it's called not The Ring, or The Circle with your girl Emma from Harry Potter.
A lot of Emmas.
Harry Potter, Emma Watson.
Yeah. Emma Watson.
It's about this whole like Facebooky sort of thing, and the circle. Who would like? It's one of those things. Like, where did these movies come from? You're still getting played come Oscar time. Like, you're gonna put something out, like Street put out a movie. Oh, is it January? It's that time of year again.
Let's go back to Oscars. So he won for Forrest Gump. That was 2 in a row for Hanks. He won the year before for Philadelphia. Where do you stand on Philadelphia?
Philadelphia needs to be put on there. That's prime Hanks.
Yeah.
Him, Locomotion.
I think that it was in that era that he made that transition from comedic actor to dramatic actor.
Absolutely agree.
And I mean, looking at some of the older-ish ones, like the 80s were full of these kind of ridiculous comedies. Now, not to say that some of them aren't good, because I would put Big on this list.
Yeah.
Not because it's the greatest movie, but it's got staying power.
We're going to revisit Big for a later topic.
Okay. Are we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And a little teaser for the future there.
Yes, we
visit.
I just
Big.
So
absolutely, like I said, one, it's how excited. I think the criteria for top 10 Hanks films is how excited are you, one, that this movie came on the screen. 2, will you be able to sit through the whole movie and be entertained no matter what? Can you quote the movie?
Okay.
And are you excited that you saw Tom Hanks on the screen?
Okay.
And where do you all that?
Where do you stand on Castaway?
So I put it on TV the other day, and Rachel's my wife, my future wife, by the way. Rachel had never seen it before, and I'd not known that. I should have known that. Rachel only sees certain movies when I rewatch movies. There's there's a little bit of an age difference there. So, but you and I and a lot of our friends group are so media heavy, so it's not unlike for us to have say, well, I even threw out a movie the other day that had Hanks in it that you had not personally seen.
That's correct. Um, a fantastic film, nothing in common, with Jackie Gleason, and it was tremendous.
Yeah,
I'd almost go so far as to say it belongs on this list.
I would say so. You get just enough Gleason to go, okay, I got Gleason, and then Hanks. So Hanks did this thing in the '80s where, yeah, he was a sitcom actor, but he broke free when he was doing Joe versus the Volcano, Splash, so on and so forth.
Which, both of those, I'm going to say don't belong on the list.
I don't. They're whatever. They're throwaways for me.
Yeah.
The one red shoe.
Nah.
No.
No.
So he also was dipping his toes to think, can I make it as a dramatic actor? And unfortunately, at the time, the world wasn't ready for semi-dramatic because the movie has a hefty sort of theme. Would you not say?
Which one?
In common?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's definitely, yeah, I mean, but he's so charismatic.
Right.
Like, in this movie, you cannot take your eyes off of Tom Hanks.
No, and I think he showed his acting chops earlier when he could do dramatic things. His Family Ties guest stars for TV. Those were huge because he played, Elise's brother who had some sort of dependency. I can't remember if it was alcohol or drugs, and so he's a little bit belligerent towards Alex P. Keaton, the star of said show at that point in time, and so he's dipping his toes in being a villain there, and he's showing off his dramatic, a special episode chops, and so people didn't see him that way. All they wanted was bosom buddies Hanks, and so he's like, I get a chance to act with the great one Gleason. He gets to be the funny one here. Let me just chew up this film and we'll see what we get. And people weren't ready for that. That was 90s. That's 90s level acting out of Hanks in an 80s level Hanks film.
Mid-80s. It definitely surprised me. I was not expecting it to be as great as it was.
Okay, so back to Castaway. So I turn it on. She comes at the complete wrong part. The movie's almost done. And so it's the big thing, like, spoiler, he makes it. Spoiler, he makes it.
In the fucking trailer, they showed
it. Right. You and your McCool's rule. So, spoiler, he makes it, right?
It wasn't the last scene. In their defense, it wasn't the last scene.
He comes back, and, like, it's all this thing, and he's dealing with the fact that he's back, and he's dealing with the fact that everybody's moved on, and Rachel is absolutely hating it. She hates
understandable
ending because there's no resolution. And I was like, oh, that's Zemeckis. That's how it happens sometimes. And she's like, I don't ever want to watch the full movie. I hate it. I hate Castaway. Don't you play Castaway for me.
So dramatic. I was so angry. I remember watching the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And in the trailer, not only was it a blowjob to FedEx, but they gave away the fact that he survived.
Yeah.
In the trailer. God, it was hot. He was spectacular in the movie. Spectacular.
Well, right, because it's just him, and he's acting to inanimate objects. He's doing a dynamic to nothing.
So, I mean, in some ways, I would say that makes it eligible for the list because he's great, but the movie is just
poor story.
What's that?
It's a piss poor story.
Yeah.
It's extremely loud and incredibly close. It's
terrible.
It's that Smokin' Aces rule. I'm going to show my star in the trailer, the entire trailer, and kill him off within 20 minutes. Spoiler again, by the way.
Yeah.
And that was. Oh, I'm so sorry. She hasn't seen that one either. My future wife is sitting in the room with us. listening to this happening. She's working on some schoolwork, and unfortunately, I just spoiled extremely loud and incredibly close. I want to,
It's fine.
Max von Sydow's the reason to watch that movie, not fucking Tom Hanks, by the way. And it was at that point in time, extremely loud and incredibly. Everybody was capitalizing on, we're back, we're building America. 9/11 happened. Let's capitalize on this, and it was just it's just awful.
Yeah, it was bad. I would like to nominate A League of Their Own,
Absolutely.
both for him and rewatchability.
Absolutely. I can turn. I have A League of Their Own on various forms of media right now. I have multiple Rockford Peaches shirts. I have a Rockford Peaches sign. I've met a few of the original Peaches. I didn't go to the Rockford Peaches night, which was this big film festival gala, and
I guess to pull the curtain back a little bit, you live in the town of Rockford.
yeah, I now live in. I used to live in. My future wife speaks up and goes, the city of Rockford. Don't get me started with Rockford. So yes, so I now live in Rockford. Pull the curtain back, from last episode. I now live in Rockford, and so how exciting is it to be in a part of history with the Rockford, like representing the Rockford Peaches? Like we went to a college level ball game last year. The Rockford Rivets.
Yeah.
What?
Was Tom Hanks there?
No, unfortunately not. But these wonderfully fantastic 90-year-old women there in their gay Peaches All-American women, garb there, and sweet as pie, and taking pictures with everybody.
Awesome.
It was fantastic. Now Meathead's daughter kind of it's not. No, I guess it is. It's when Penny Marshall and
Rob
Reiner were together. I think they had Tracy, right? Tracy Reiner.
I'm not familiar with the timeline.
Tracy Reiner is in A League of Their Own, though.
Okay.
So the big thing was her and
the way that those two TV stars would both be tremendous directors.
Yeah, who would have thought? Well,
anyway, we digress.
What I think the whole history of it is because they were in that whole same universe.
Yeah, that could be.
That's how they met, and so on and so forth. It was the same thing with Dan Aykroyd and all that other business with Princess Leia, but that's neither here nor there. So so they did this whole thing, and so I'm a big Peaches fan. I love A League of Their Own. I've always loved A League of Their Own, even before moving to Rockford. I think I got the household a little bit more excited when it comes to Peaches things since getting together with my future wife is from here. I found her in Rockford, and so I decided to move here.
I found her.
Yeah, she was in some rock area. I was like, oh, you're great. You're now going to be my future wife. And so, I moved out here, and so I was like, Rockford Peaches, A League of Their Own. And she's like, yeah, it's a thing. And I'm like, no, it's a great thing. And so A League of Their Own definitely needs to be on the top 10.
Okay, I'm down. Where do you stand on Saving Private Ryan?
I love it. I think it's in my top 3 Steve Spielberg movies. I could watch Saving Private Ryan over again. Like Jaws, Saving Private Ryan, absolutely.
Aside from the tremendous flaws in the screenplay,
right?
I think that his performance was wonderful. I'm okay with it being on the list. I think I would put it there over Forrest Gump, but
really, because that's one of those things, though. Like you think, I don't know, like when I look at Saving Private Ryan, I don't see it as a Hanks vehicle though.
Well, then maybe it doesn't belong on the list.
Okay, I think you're right then. Yeah, but I think how it is. I think it's how Spielberg set up the camaraderie with everybody within that whole situation because they did months and months of boot camp before, and so aside from putting people in Nazi uniforms and making these guys Lord of the Rings across the field constantly and then sometimes get shot at, um, it's essentially about the group of people feeling how they feel about Gandalf, and Tom Hanks is the Gandalf in this situation. He is the wizard directing them towards this area, and so there's less interaction. He's the one who's pushing them towards that end goal, that saving Private Ryan, as it
I
were.
never really thought about it that way, but you're kind of right. Is there anything that like stands out to you as I need to mention this right now? Like when you think of Tom Hanks movies, is there anything we haven't thought of yet? Because I have a few that are like when you say, "Oh, it's a Tom Hanks movie," and I think like Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. Sleepless in Seattle. Now, I would, we'll definitely talk about Sleeplessly in Seattle, but I was thinking That Thing You Do, directed by Hanks.
You know, everybody seems to like that movie more than I do,
Really?
but
Well, that's not really in the way of music and musicality. That's not in your wheelhouse.
it's okay though. I mean, I definitely like that kind of 50s sound. Um, I don't know. I think there's this era of air of nostalgia with
Okay.
that the people that loved it then loved it because it reminded them of like their childhood, and the people that love it now love it because they remember it being popular when they were a kid. And
Okay.
I just never fit into either of those categories.
Okay.
It was
So,
always another movie to me.
so you think it sits in that cult of nostalgia?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it,
Okay. Sleepless in Seattle. I absolutely his his one-on-one interactions with the kid, and when they're having that heart to heart,
yep.
and it's their everyday life. I think that is perfect prime Hanks. And Meg Ryan's whatever, and she's always whatever. Meg Ryan's Meg Ryan. um
Don't you talk bad about Sally Albright.
I swear to God, Meg Ryan she quite literally is the vehicle for every leading man in the 90s to bump off a great film. When you think of When Harry Met Sally,
Who ended up laying pipe to her for a minute, didn't he? Were
so
they, did they get married?
her and Dennis Quaid
No, she left Dennis Quaid because she had an affair
with
with,
Antonio Banderas, right?
no, it was like Russell Crowe on that
Russell
weird.
Crowe, you're right. You're totally right. So I think personally, she does get good lines, but the way that she's just there, she's the vehicle for all of her leading men, her
I
like,
co-star. Yeah, I could see it.
like
Um,
when, yeah, if I told you name me one of your favorite 5 Billy Crystal films, you know, you're gonna say When Harry Met Sally because he was so good, because he springboarded off from her. She's the straight man to his. That's this whole Abbott and Costello. Like it's him getting to act the hell out of her towards her, not getting much of a reaction, but she's, I don't know, maybe she's the amplifier of the great film. And I feel
yeah,
that way with Sleepless in Seattle too. Now, you got males in that same thing. Everybody's like, we want to see another thing like Sleepless in Seattle. The remake
not good.
Shop Around the Corner, it's not great. Like the one thing I like about Hanks is he skirts the line of villainry. If you think about him, right? So in in um in A League of Their Own, he's the drunk can't go to war baseball manager, right? And he treats the girls bad, but then he does something to redeem himself in your eyes because him and Dottie kind of have this thing, right? And so he skirts that villainry. Like he yells at girls, he makes them cry, right? And he's like, oh, but then he hearts of gold you right in. And it's the same thing with You Got Mail, right? So he's lying to this woman. You know, he owns a Barnes and Noble type store, right? And he's going to shut down the bookshop around the corner. And they don't know that they like each other, but they hate each other in real life, and they don't know all of that. And he skirts that line of villainy.
Irony, by the way, which I hate.
And so I think that's the great thing about Hanks. He knows how far to take his star power.
Yeah.
Same thing with Green Mile. You know, here he is. He's the main guard or whatever. He's skirting that line. He's supposed to take care of them. You know, he doesn't want bad things, but bad things happen on his watch. You know, he's not directly doing it. And then, you know, his wife or whomever, you know, not his wife, but, you know, it's one of those things. All of a sudden, his kidney disease is taken away because of, you know, John Coffey and all of that sort of thing. He skirts that line, and I think that's part of what makes him a great actor.
All right, Sleepless on here. Anything else that jumps out at you when you think Tom Hanks?
Honestly, Hanks from 2010 into 2009 or 2000 now, I think he's there showing up.
Even with like the Mr. Rogers show, you didn't.
Hanks was interchangeable at Mr. Rogers. Hanks was interchangeable when he was.
That's a bold statement.
Hanks was interchangeable when he was Sully. Hanks was interchangeable when he was Captain Phillips. Like there's nothing spectacular. It's one of those things where like we can bank on Hanks to get us to that gold spot so that we get that gold bump. We're not going to get that gold, but we're going to get that gold bump because we're releasing this film around this time and we've got Hanks. And he's going to act the hell out of it. Unpopular opinion, I didn't think Mr. Rogers was that great in the first place.
I loved it. Not necessarily because of him, but I loved the movie. Okay, let's get back on track. I feel like Toy Story has to be on this list, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not what you would consider traditional Hanks, but I mean,
the deals Hanks and Allen made with Disney on that sort of thing, it was unprecedented. Like, Allen's rolling hot with Home Improvement right then and there, and he makes this unheard of multi-picture deal with Disney, which, you know, almost in the vein of the old Hollywood system. And Hanks jumps on board, you know, and now that's part of the guard again. Like, you know, Disney is one of those people who's like, yeah, we're going to pay you what you deserve. And sometimes these actors deserve what they get, and sometimes they don't. But they've also been smart to lock them in these deals in which they see that they can capitalize on these deals. And Toy Story is one of those, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, how memorable is Toy Story? Like, I guarantee you can throw 3 Woody lines out right now from the original Toy Story.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
so, yeah, I got it on the list. I think we're good there.
Yeah. So what do we have right now? Because I've been going off on tangents and making this longer because we haven't done this in forever. And
so, yeah, we're stretching a little bit here.
Yeah.
So right now we've got The Green Mile, Philadelphia, Big, Nothing in Common, 1986, Gleason, League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Toy Story, 5, 6, that's 7. Forrest Gump's on the maybe list at 8. I'm willing to concede it, barring any hiccups here. I feel like Apollo 13 needs to be on the list.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, I mean, the Oscar debacle and Ron Howard and all that business really had nothing to do with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks was wonderful in it.
Well, Tom Hanks was so sorry, Tom Hanks was so, like, he was commanding. Like, yeah, once again he's working with Gary Sinise, and you get a little bit of Kevin Bacon for comic relief, but you were genuinely worried about Jim Lovell. You were excited. You wanted them to go back into space every time so that you could get updated on how these people are. And I think Hanks is the driving force behind that.
What about Catch Me If You Can? Do you like it?
I do, and it's once again in that same vein. It comes on TBS or TNT
A lot.
a lot, and you know, I I won't shut it off if it was just on.
Road to Perdition?
Road to Perdition is absolutely fantastic. I think
I agree.
that's that, like, that same thing I was saying, that villainy thing.
Yep.
Like, it skirts that line. But
I
this
love
is where you
Perdition.
actually taste it. I think Perdition needs to be, because I think everybody was surprised by that movie. Absolutely. And I don't think it gets enough credit where it's due. And Hanks is stoic, and he's this gangster, and it's nothing you've ever seen from him before, and it's a little bit more action from him. And
2002, 2004, somewhere in that neighborhood. Let me look here. I've got kind of the list here.
yeah, I'm looking right now too, myself.
2002. And I really, like you were saying, these post 2010 movies, like,
Larry Crown. Ugh.
yeah, like he's fine.
Right.
Like, it's fine.
Gonna show up. He's gonna put him in the seats for you.
Right. I mean, he really is a comp to Meryl Streep, and they're both tremendously good at what they do, and their box office gold. Just you put their name on it, and people show up, and it's like they've hit this Hall of Fame threshold where it doesn't even matter. Like, their name is the brand.
Okay. Here's what, I don't know if you've ever seen it. Punchline? You ever seen it?
You know what? I've never seen Punchline, believe it or not.
It's Sally Field, Tom
Yeah.
Hanks, John Goodman in the John Candy role.
Okay.
And it's once again, Hanks is skirting the line. It's about, it's the world of comedy. You and I love that inner workings of certain fields sort of situation. And
so at this point, the question is it better than Forrest Gump?
I absolutely believe so. Absolutely. You might be watching, I might be getting you Punchline soon. You might be watching Punchline later.
It's always been one of those, like, oh yeah, there's that. I never watched it.
I think it's a Sally Field vehicle. This is her coming off her Oscar win. Steel Magnolias as well. She's just coming off that high. And so it was one of those sort of things like, hey, let's put the kid in with Sally Field and see how that goes. And Sally Field's the driving force from it. But Hanks, once again, he's there. And he's pushing her to the next level. And he's skirting villainy again, like he does. But, like, it's actually a wonderfully written film. And their relationship is very dynamic. I'd rather watch Sally Field, not playing his mother, by the way, Sally Field act with Hanks than I would Julia Roberts act with Hanks, or whoever else they want to push on us. Like, what is it, Juliette Binoche in no, that's not her name. It's not Marion Cotillard, or was she in one of those? The Robert Langdon Da Vinci Codes. Ugh.
Oh, the Da Vinci Code I thought was actually really good, but
Hanks skirted action star. Hanks is not an action star. You can't make him Indiana Jones.
I suppose that's fair. That's fair. I mean, the only other thing that's recent, and by recent I mean in this century, that kind of comes to mind is the Polar Express. But again, it's not. I wouldn't say, gee, let's put on a Tom Hanks movie. Let's be the Polar Express, you know. But you would consider Punchline to be a Tom Hanks movie, not a Sally Field movie?
Absolutely, yeah. Because if you look at the poster, it's her and him.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so right now we have a standing 9, and the 10th one seems to be a debate between Forrest Gump and Punchline. And not having seen Punchline, I'm willing to concede it based on your recommendation.
Okay.
Only because I dislike Forrest Gump more and more as I get older. In 1994, I loved it. Now, I don't love it. I love him. I don't love the movie.
Screen time wise, let's go back to Catch Me If You Can. Screen time wise, he's maybe in a fourth of that film.
It's been a minute since I've seen it. I just thought of it because I remember him being in it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to go by, like, what do you remember Tom Hanks in?
Yeah.
So,
well, the Terminal's definitely not on it.
What's that?
The Terminal? Ugh.
I liked The Terminal. He played a foreigner. What? It was fun. Well, I saw it for free, so does that count for something? Oh, shit. Okay. If we go with Punchline, that makes 10.
What about the Lady Killers? Have you ever seen the Lady Killers?
I've seen the Lady Killers. Wait, is that a Woody Allen movie?
No.
He's in a Woody Allen movie.
That's a Coen's, I thought.
Might be a Coen. Lady Killers, yes, is where, yes, I've seen Lady Killers. I like it.
I like Lady Killers because it's him coming back to absurdity.
Yeah.
Because
but I wouldn't call that a Tom Hanks movie, necessarily.
Everybody got so upset. They're like, this isn't Apollo 13 Tom Hanks. This is Burbs Tom Hanks.
Yeah, and everybody loves The Burbs. We have a mutual friend who The Burbs is like his favorite movie, almost. It's not, but loves The Burbs. And I think The Burbs, again, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine. I mean, there's a ton of those, like, those 80s, you know, Splash and all of those that are, yeah, they're fine.
Bachelor Party, so on and so forth.
All of those. But, you know, it wasn't really, Big, I think, was kind of, you know, big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That
was him. That was less zany and madcap and more him playing the mind of a child, you know, reacting to Cloud Atlas. I just saw Cloud Atlas and I was like, oh, I forgot about that one.
Oh. All right, I feel like we've agreed on these 10, and
I think we're there. I think we're at it.
If we can't recall something else, then it probably doesn't belong on this list.
No.
So, okay, so we've got The Green Mile, Philadelphia, Big, Nothing in Common, A League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Toy Story, Apollo 13, Road to Perdition, Punchline.
Yeah.
10.
Yep.
Top
10! That's it.
That's going to do it for this episode of Come On.
Right. So, you know, hey, Steve.
Yes?
How can people, you know, join in and send us a question or a top 10 or a topic? Where can people go ahead and get a hold of us?
Well, I can't do it over this beautiful theme music. Well, we're on the YouTube, I think. So you can just go down here to the comment and write a little comment in. You can find us on the Facebook. The Facebook company, as it was promoted recently on television, I thought that was super weird, which it's Come On. Just search for Come On. You'll see a great cartoon photo of the two of our faces in the other order. I'm on that side, and he's over here. So then You can also find us on the Twitter machine. If you type in at Come On Pod, CMONPOD. But I think, putting the right here on the YouTube is really going to be the best because we can all see it. We can interact.
All the links on the YouTube as well to all of our channels and so on and so forth. Everywhere where you can get a hold of. And, we can't do this without your input. Right now we're playing off some old lists that we've had. And so we'd love to hear new ones from you guys. So you're just digging the theme music though, aren't you?
All right. Thanks, everybody.
That was a great episode. Thanks again. Welcome back.
We'll be back.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice